President Biden accused of going hyper-partisan in a speech where he was going to be honoring the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the president who preaches unity, using the occasion to attack his Republican critics.
You know, you're going to talk about big spending Democrats again? Guess what? I reduced the deficit last year, $350 billion. But so what? These guys are the fiscally, they're fiscally demented, I think. They don't quite get it.
Florida Congressman Byron Donalds responded to being called fiscally demented.
Joe Biden sounds utterly ridiculous. What he wants to do is keep all of the items that he has ratcheted up spending in. He wants to keep those in place as opposed to doing the smart thing, the responsible thing, the fiscally sound thing, which is examining spending at the federal level so we can get our debt under control, our inflation under control.
And the president turning some heads with these comments about the Second Amendment and car insurance.
I am going to get assault weapons banned. I did it once, I'm going to do it again. I love my right-wing friends who talk about the tree of liberty is water with the blood of patriots. If you need to work about taking on the federal government, you need some F-15s. You don't need an AR-15. I'm serious. And by the way, if you live in one of those neighborhoods and you have the same exact car I have in the other neighborhood, you pay more for your insurance than that side. No basis for it. None at all, other than you're black. And I'm white.
Oh, my.
Unity, Greg.
Yeah, you know, I swore, like, when he became president that we wouldn't be like them, like the Trump derangement syndrome, but Biden. I refuse to see him as evil or inherently bad, but he is pathetic in the sense that he was always kind of known for being have manners and have class and congenial. But here, there's a tribute to MLK, and he uses it to demonize a party. And so you start thinking, well, what is this? Is this the Joe Biden that everybody thought they knew? Of course not. That one is dead. I mean, this isn't even a thinking, self-aware individual at this point. He's Joy Reid with an artificial hip. He will say anything or do anything. He doesn't care. But I got to go back to that line that he always uses. It's so tired about the F-15. You know, when he says, you know, you can't fight the government unless you have an F-15. He's like that obnoxious, stupid child at a zoo, banging on the window of a lion enclosure and saying, ah, ha, ha, you can't get me, you can't get me. That is literally the level of his infantile discourse. He's basically trying to goad people into a civil confrontation after claiming that a QAnon shaman threatened our democracy. So you can't have it both ways, you dope brain. You can't say that our democracy is in peril because of a motley bunch of rioters and then say, hey, good luck overthrowing the government with your AR-15s. He's absolutely lost his mind. And again, I'm not losing my mind over this. This is not derangement syndrome. This is simply watching the decline of an individual. And you can say this. You can say that he's lost his mind now because there's nothing worse than somebody calling you a racist in this society. Right. So he has extended that platform, that bar, so that when you say that he's senile or just idiotic, that's nothing close to being called a racist, because being demented is out of your control. But when somebody calls you a racist, that is an attack on your moral being. So I guess all bets are off at this point.
I wanted everybody to know, you have to stick around for my one more thing, because there's a deep tease. You don't even know what it is, but you just deep teased my one more thing.
I hope it doesn't involve Kilmeade.
No, it might involve a kid.
I'm going to be on the whole show.
It might involve a kid. I want to play, if you could play the call for about the IRS, and we'll get Judge Janine to respond. Here, watch this.
You know, all these new IRS agents we have is because they fired a lot of them and a lot of retiring. And guess what? Who needs serious agents to know what they're doing and not doing? The billionaires, the multi-millionaires. This one bill alone will add $114 billion to the deficit. They didn't say if elected their plan was to make inflation worse.
Judge, the reason they needed the 87,000 IRS agents is so that they can make the math work to get the infrastructure bill done so that Manchin wouldn't vote against it. It all goes to green subsidies. That's why they got the agents.
Thank you for explaining that, because nothing he said made sense. But I have to tell you, I have 4 things I want to comment on from the speech. Number one, I think he's one of the most divisive presidents in American history. This is a president who has taken on the American people, as opposed to taking on people in a foreign country who want, Americans to die and Israel to die and all that stuff. Number two, he is someone who is taking all this credit and calling us crazy about the economy, when the truth is he ran the deficit up to a world record of $2.5 trillion in 2021, and then in 2022 borrowed another $1.5 trillion, which is also the highest ever. So he's the most financially reckless president that we've ever had. And, it's like an alcoholic bragging, look, I went from 8 drinks to 6 drinks. Things are really good now. Mm-hmm. Then the other thing, his comment about, they should be able to shoot him in the leg. They shouldn't be able to shoot him. Look, cops are trained to shoot center mass when they are resisting deadly physical force. It's not like a Western where you got some guy who's going to shoot that gun out of your hand. Okay? Mm-hmm. Unless you got a sniper, you go for center mass. That's another thing that shows he's totally disconnected. And finally, this idea of the Illinois governor and the assault weapons and all that. First of all, the assault weapon ban in '93, the results of it are very unclear. Very unclear. And he says he wants to do it again, fine. And the Illinois governor is telling his sheriffs they won't have their job if they don't enforce the assault weapon ban in Illinois. He can't take their jobs away from them because they've been elected.
Right.
That's it.
Geraldo, doesn't President Biden have to make a decision if he's going to announce he's running for re-election? Is he going to be the congenial, unifying president that he said that he would be, that you don't have to worry about anything, or the divisive one that seems to be where he defaults to in these speeches?
You're much more of an expert on politics than I am.
Not on this one. I don't know.
Well, I was just going to say that it was like a stoner stream of consciousness, that speech. It was one of the most disconnected, really, and I like the guy. I just didn't know where he was going. With the, like the AR-15s, what does that have to do with the 87,000 IRS agents? And it just seemed the whole mishmash. And it also seemed ominously to speak of the division that you mentioned, Judge. Does he want 2 sides to? But let me, if I may, say, with considerable experience in war, I just wanted to give you a quick picture. 30 seconds. Mogadishu, Somalia. I was there in 2002 with my brother Craig, and we watched a young doctor bleed out. He died right in front of us. His head had been blown off, or half of it taken away by an AR-15. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, there is no legitimate reason, other than maybe sport shooting, if you're a registered person in one of those high-end sport clubs. There's no legitimate reason to have an AR-15. You can't shoot deer with it. You can't. It has no practical significance. What it does is it machofies, if that's a word. It makes macho the people who possess it. Oh, look at me! I'm a big deal.
It's a rifle.
And it's not a rifle.
Yes, it's
Greg.
a rifle.
It is a machine.
What does AR stand for?
It is an automatic rifle.
No, that's not what it is.
Well, all I know is that AR-15s have no place in American society other than sport clubs.
Okay.
And I agree with him on that. I also think, ironically, that we do need more IRS agents if they say we need more IRS agents.
Brian, takes credit for reducing the deficit, but that was after the COVID emergency funds went down, right?
Right.
And so it's like when he says, it's the greatest airlift in history.
Yeah.
Or when and including on baby formula. It's like he's writing checks he can't cash, so to speak.
It's if he doesn't get briefed on things he gets wrong. It's the same stories over and over again. The Mandela story, he got arrested outside the prison. No one ever says, don't say that anymore. The train story, no one ever says, hey, by the way, that's not true. Don't say it anymore. The F-15 He says that over and over again. The analogy's done. Have you talked to a cop? They never say shoot for the leg. Everybody knows it's shoot for the mask. Know what you don't know. And when it comes to spending, he spent $9.7 trillion. And we know that this is going to be over the next 10 years. He's going to spend $6 trillion over the next 10 years. So this is all coming down the pike. He wants to reduce spending. The thing is, he's fortuitous in this. Mitch McConnell came across on the deal when it comes to the infrastructure. He came across the aisle when it came to the CHIPS bill. It was originally a Republican bill. He's taking credit for these bills that the Senate actually cut a deal with, which mostly Republicans had agreed with. And he just signs it. In fact, he almost blew it up because he says, I will not sign one without the other. So to me, the scariest thing for his staff, if they are paying attention, is when he walks around clearly not looking at the prompter, because you have no idea what's going to happen. And believe me, he does not want to use the word demented.
You gotta remember.
It was one of the worst words that he could possibly use.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that word.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, of course.
There's no social redeeming value to an assault weapon. The Constitution doesn't limit something to a socially redeeming factor.
There were no assault weapons in.
Oh, should we have cannons in our house? Let's not go there.
The A doesn't
Just a
stand
quick
for
thing. We
assault.
only have 600.
What does AR stand for anyway?
You should look it up.
I was going to in the commercial.
Take Kilmeade's advice.
Not counting Greg.
Armalite.
Not counting
Armalite.
Greg.
It's not assault.
We have 607 billionaires in this country. Not counting Greg, 606. So that's who we're cracking down on, the billionaires who have the best accountants. Most of them are just playing within the system.
Way to
No,
defend
these
billionaires.
87,000 agents are going after your small business.
There's no
Mark.
question.
Did they have AR?
Absolutely.
All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.